another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that's cool in the world today. I am Talk to Me Goose, Daniel Porcaro, and on this episode I have a sit-down interview with Adrenaline Pro Wrestling trainer and star Jayson Krash. We talk about his beginnings as a backyard wrestler as well as him becoming a trainer at Adrenaline Pro Wrestling. So sit back, relax and enjoy from Ungrateful Trainee to Humble Trainer with Jayson Krash. Jayson, thank you so much for being part of the show. I know you got a very busy schedule, but I want to bring up something that was brought to my attention when I was looking on our socials. Now, I have the screenshot, which is going to be right here, and I'm just going to read what exactly it says. So, obviously, you guys like to have a lot of fun and, ask and honest questions, but this is the one that really caught my eye and really... Oh God! It nearly killed me when I read it. It says,
"This is that NGL thing, isn't it?" Yeah.
Yep. I'm actually mind blown. You haven't offed yourself yet. Kudos to you. Now that could go either way, but that is incredibly shocking. And how did we got the response there? But how did you first react to it?
Look, obviously on screen, from what people see, I'm a wrestler. Okay, I think it's one of those things, but I think people forget that, behind, the aesthetic of what we put on, whether it be like myself, Adam Crow, John Stop Action, whoever, I know you've interviewed a few of them. There's obviously, there's a human behind that, that has a day job. And, I remember seeing that and I was like, okay. For me, I think in life in general, I will always take on a situation and process it first. I need to feel what I need to feel and figure out how to acknowledge it. I remember that coming through and I sat on it for a little bit. And in a previous life, I wasn't the nicest person. I wasn't the coolest person by any means whatsoever. I had to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of growing up. To obviously get to where I am today and be the person that I am today. And obviously during that, I upset quite a few people. And there have been times where I've been through hell and back, and I won't lie, it rattled me. It really did. And I think it's one of those things that, especially on social media, it is so easy for people to hide behind a keyboard and say what they want to say. And you know what? If someone needs to say that to get that off their chest, to make them feel better, and you know what? Yeah, I'm living my life for me. You know what I mean? I will take anyone on that journey with me. I've done some things. I think everyone has done some things that they're not proud of. Nothing will ever change that, but I think in my personal opinion, anything that happens is it's not a life sentence, it's a life lesson. And when I think anyone sees something like that, it hits you so hard that you have to remind yourself. I know I had to remind myself of who I am as a person, who I am now, what I've had to work so hard to become. It definitely rattled me. I'm not gonna say it didn't, but I think just in general, I think the topic is such a touchy subject when anyone gets something like that, and people forget that we're human, and people forget that we have feelings and emotions and this, that, and the other. Like I said, I'm not proud of the person that I was, but I'm proud of the person that I am today. And what else can I say, really, man? It leveled me for sure, but it took a lot of soul searching and a lot of I had to be grateful. I think it was the main thing. I think if anyone is in one of those situations, man, you've got to remember what you just got to be grateful for what you've got. You've got to remember those moments. You've got to remember how far you've come, what you've achieved, and you've also got to acknowledge your shortcomings and what you've done previously to make someone feel like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, bro, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here for sure, and I'm humbled that I'm still here, and I'm humbled that I've got the people around me that I do. And that's my main thing. I know who I am as a person. I think it's such a powerful thing. People just forget who they are. Be proud of who you are. It's such a strong message. Like, one achievement for someone might take them 5 minutes. For someone else, it might take them 10. But be proud of the journey that you're on and be proud of who you are today.
Exactly.
But don't obviously forget where you came from.
Mm.
I think that'd be my message for that, for sure.
Well, I think you handled it very well. I mean, you did say to me off camera when this first came on, you did
Sure.
take a bit of time before you answered it. And
Mm.
I think if you can do it in a mature way that you did, I think firstly it shows you how mature you are, but
Appreciate it.
also how much of a bigger man you are to that person who made that comment. But one thing I want to say, and I'm not speaking on your behalf. I'm not even speaking on behalf of the show. I'm speaking on myself on this one. As wrestling
Please.
fans, the two things we
Mm.
need to remember: one, these people are human beings, right? And two, right, we have no goddamn right to talk to anybody like that. It doesn't matter if they're a heel, doesn't matter if they're a face. In general, we cannot talk to people like that, right? It is just not on. So, guys, be very, very careful what you say on there because you never know what that person's going through. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, we have seen it in the past, especially during the COVID.
Yeah, man.
How many people did we lose during that time? And it's not just in the
Genuinely.
wrestling world. It is we're talking about everything. I know I lost a lot of friends because of shit like this, and it's
For sure.
I'm literally about to go on a tangent, but
Go
it
for
is
it.
absolutely terrible. So guys,
100%,
please
man.
be very careful what you say, and if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. That's what our parents used to say to us, and it rings right true.
100%, man. And look, I get it. At the end of the day, you know, like I said, man, I've done wrong by people in my life, but I'm sure everyone's done wrong by someone in their life. And I paid for it. I really did. But in turn, I learned a lot about myself. And there are still bridges that I'm sure I've got to mend, and I know for a fact I'll get there one day.
Yeah.
If people give me the time. And it's just one of those things that I know I've hurt people. And that's just me as a person. That's not Jayson Krash. That's me as a person. When I was young, dumb, stupid, we've all been there, but judge me on who I was, that's on you. Find out about who I am today, and I promise you I'll give you all the time in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're here for. So now that we got
Yeah,
that out of the way, let's have the fun part of the show, where
100%, man.
where everyone comes
Let's
here to
go.
have a good laugh and just poking fun at each other and just all
Let's go,
the goodness
bro.
we do. So,
Let's
well, I've just recently found out that you are a trainer at Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I want to know exactly,
Thank you.
firstly, before we get into
Yeah.
how you're doing the training and who you're training exactly, how did you actually get
Sure.
into the industry?
So I was one of those kids, 14, 15. I was like, wrestling's the coolest thing in the world. I would get on the trampoline with my brother and we would wrestle. And my brother is genuinely Zane Zodiac. That ain't story. That is legit my brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Zane
that blew my
Zodiac
mind.
is genuinely my brother. There you go. That ain't for story. That ain't for, Zane is my brother. I love him to bits, but holy crap, do I want to punch his head in some days.
I'm
Did
like
you
that with my
see?
siblings too. That's for sure.
Right? No, I do love him to bits. I do love him to bits, but like, there's still a discussion between me and him that needs to happen after he leveled me with that trash can at a few shows ago. But hey, we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
So look, me and Zane obviously we'd be mucking about on the trampoline, and then the trampoline, we had one of those nets on the trampoline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And TNA is where it was for me back in the day. So we had the net on the trampoline. So we took the net off. We cut all the posts that were supporting the net, and it turned into like I know TNA had like a 6-sided ring. This thing was like a 10-sided ring because how many bloody poles are around it. So we gaffer tape ropes around this thing. And then we were like, this is bouncy. A wrestling ring isn't as like that bouncy. So like hard rubbish came about, and we found mattresses and we chucked them underneath the trampoline, and then that became our wrestling ring. And then I think my mum was just getting absolutely horrified that we were tearing up her backyard or like these mattresses underneath the ring. The trampoline was doing this, we were hitting each other with chairs, and like the barbecue was like our steel steps. We were smashing each other's heads off this thing. And like barbecue, mind you, man. The last podcast I heard was you and Adam Crow, and you were telling me that you wanted me to dress up as a barbecue dude with some tongs and a sausage. But hey, we'll get
Hang
there.
on, speaking of that, is that true, or was he telling me BS on that?
No, that is true, man. So it was a breakout show. So we used breakout for our up and coming talent and talent we want to develop and obviously give a look at. And I was running the barbecue that night. I drew the short straw. And sure enough, he came out, Mr. Dreamboat. And I'm sat there with a snag in my hand going, all right, let's go, bro. So yes.
All right, I'm never going to doubt you, great grandpa. I'm never going to doubt you.
Exactly. Yes. And anyway, then we became of age, where mum thought we'd have grown out of this by now. And,
oh hell no, that would never happen.
Right. I'm 31, man, and I'm still doing this shit. And then obviously we found a local wrestling school in Hallam, PCW, had set up down there. And so we went down to PCW, and that's where we learned how to do what we do. We had some great teachers, some great instructors, and they obviously taught us what we know now, and obviously the foundation of what we do.
So you had, I'm guessing at the time would have been Tricky. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember the other person who used to be there.
Tricky was our main trainer. I don't remember anyone else, but Tricky was our main trainer.
Okay.
And like, so obviously he taught us our foundation and like our foundation, like pretty much everything we know, to get us obviously onto shows and into ring.
Yeah.
But Tricky was one of those guys that like I did that guy's head in. I know for a fact I did that guy's head in because he believed so heavily in me. And like, but he wasn't just trying to coach me as a wrestler, he was trying to coach me as a human being.
Yeah.
And it comes back to when I was a bit of a dick in my younger days. I walked in there thinking I was a backyard wrestler that's going to walk into PCW and tear it up. Right? That's where my head was at. And Tricky was one of those guys that realized that I was full of ego. And I walked in there thinking like the PCW owed me something. And my brother was like looking at me like, what are you doing, dickhead? Like, can you pull your head in? And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm Jayson Krash. Let's go, like kind of thing. And I think that was one of the real big good things about PCW. And it's something I've actually carried over into Adrenaline now is the mindset that they were trying to teach me specifically, and like how much Tricky backed me and tried to, I guess, help guide me as a human.
Yeah.
So obviously PCW is where I started, I guess, professionally outside the backyard. And then, I bounced around a little bit for a little bit. I took some time off and went and played soccer again at one stage. And then the opportunity came up for Adrenaline to happen. So I jumped on board with that, obviously. And what are we? 5 years later, I'm still there, and I'm obviously one of the trainers at Adrenaline. And like in all seriousness, it is thanks to obviously what I learned at PCW and what I've been able to pick up from other people. Like Joel Bateman, for example, comes down and runs sessions at Adrenaline. York does as well. We've had people like Ritchie Taylor come down and do seminars. I think I've just picked up all these little bits and pieces. Like I've gone overseas and trained overseas. I've done seminars that I think MCW did with like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and all that. And I picked all these little things. Yeah. And then I turned it, I guess, into my own training style, and obviously implementing how I guess I carry myself and conduct myself as a human today. I think it's such an important thing. And then I've been able to, I guess, help shape and create some really, really cool talent, which I'm really humbled by. They've given me the chance and the opportunity. And, I've learned a lot about myself and a lot about other people as well while doing it. And I mean, wrong, man, there are some days that I just want to throw people over that top rope, but like, it's definitely one of those things, man, which I'm really humbled by that I've had the opportunity to be able to do it. And it's really cool that I've had trainees from other places come down the boys at MXW, recently have come down and done a seminar down at Adrenaline as well, which was really cool. And they wanted me to lead it. And that was actually probably one of the most humbling things, that just a group of people saw what I do in the ring, and like they've heard stories from my trainees about how I carry myself and what I do. And then they were like, hey, let's give this a crack. And they all left with a smile on their face and feeling really good about themselves. And I think that's such an important thing about what we do, is just being able to walk out of that ring and feel really, really good about yourself. So yeah, man, it's been a journey for sure, but it's there have been days when I tear my hair out, but there are days that I will leave with the biggest smile on my face. But I wouldn't change it for the world by any means whatsoever.
I can't imagine you being a dick like that, as you said. I just from what I've seen of you, because I had to do some fact checking just before, because I'm thinking first time I can remember you wrestling, to my knowledge, was Never in Your Wildest Dreams, and then I was going back to some of the old vlogcasts, and I realized, holy shit, you're at New Beginnings too, where you versed Jordan, and I went, oh, how the hell did I not remember that? Because it was a great match. I even talked to Jordan about it too. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? So yeah, I'm clearly getting old. So
no, look, I've been around, and I think the Jayson Krash persona, I guess people say it is very different to who I am as a person outside of the ring. And look, it is true to an extent, but Jayson Krash to me is just me, on a couple of energy drinks and pre-workout, and turn that up to 11, and off I go. And yeah, but yeah, I know I've been in Adrenaline for a while for sure, and I've had some absolutely killer matches there, which I'm really, really humbled by for sure.
Well, speaking of your killer matches, there's actually one match I want to talk about. Now, one of the previous vlogcasts we did, I was with Chief going to watch, I think, it was Never in Wildest Dreams too. The match that you had with Ritchie. I can't say it without saying his name.
Oh, how can you not, right? How can you not?
I love you, Ritchie. Anyway, that was such a great match, and we both called it as match of the night. How did that come about? But sorry, let me start again. How did that come about, and how proud were you at the end of the match?
So Ritchie, believe it or not, we don't talk about this, but Ritchie used to be a yarder, like me, so a backyard wrestler.
Oh right, yeah,
like me back in the day, right? Yarder, the cool slang term that us yarders use,
Oh man, if you say YOLO, this interview is over, mate.
I'm too old for that, man. I'm only just catching on to let's go. Like I actually said to one of my who was it? I think I was chatting to Misfortune the other day, and I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines of I'm hip, I'm cool, and she looked at me and went, no. If you have to say that to back that up, no. Like,
oh my god, how does she feel about the show that we call What If It's Called? Now I feel really, oh man.
It got me in the feels. I was like, I'm so old. But it's really funny because like Misfortune, Nova Nichols, John Stop Action, Jordan Sampson, I've trained from scratch, you know what I mean? So yeah. I've and like B Squared as well. Those kids are bloody insane, aren't they?
Oh, if you saw their match yesterday at Deathmatch Down Under, far out, was that a good match? I was with Ziggs, and Ziggs was like so impressed with them. I saw it straight after the match. I'm like, guys, this is such a great match.
Right.
This was all.
Jay Hunter is one of my trainees as well.
You train him too?
Bro.
Matt, did you teach him that amazing dive outside? Because like for a big bloke, and especially to get the depth and the target on entry perfect, that's fantastic.
So like I've been humbled to train some really, really like so Savannah Rowe, Som, for example, Ungrateful, Luke Resner, Nate Nitro, Blake Curtis, Valito. I've had a lot of obviously helpings with. Geez, I'm sure I'm missing people. And you know what? Once this goes live, they're going to be like, "You forgot to call me out." I haven't. There have been so many that I'm really humbled by that I've been able to like help train from the scratch. So now in ring, but like Jay for me, so I'm a big dude. Like I'm 6'2". I'm 95 kilos at the moment, and my thing is always like, I want to go. Like I want to move as if I'm a cruiserweight. I want to move. I want to do. This is where my, I guess, moniker comes from, the jaw jack. I want to do shit that's going to make people jaw go, what? And then anyway, I think Joel Bateman was down for one training session. And like, so Jay turned around and he goes, yeah, I reckon I can do that. And we're like, bullshit. This dude's taller than me, wider than me. And we went, nah. He goes, no, man, I reckon I can do it. And I'm like, all right. So we have all these crash mats on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And this son of a bitch hit the ropes and just like, oh, and we're all sitting there like, and me being me, right? I'm like, I'm your trainer. I need to like step up my game and like do this. I ran at the ropes like bloody Forrest Gump on speed, man. And then I stopped and went, no, I'm too old for that man. Get out of here. Very, very impressive stuff, man. And I think that's one of the things I love about training so much. People get to find out about themselves and unlock this potential about themselves. And like, there'll be moments where like they will do something. I'm gonna be like, I didn't even know I could do that. I remember when Nova started training. All right, and Nova, she's always like, I don't think I can do this. Nova, unfortunately, is one of those people that is a bit of a self-doubter. But back in the day she was, and she's come such a long way now. But now she's found that, like, it started off as a bit of a self-doubt thing, and then like she had such good people around her in the trainees, and then she started believing in herself, and then she became Nova Nichols. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I love about training. Like, Misfortune, man, the same thing. No wrestling background whatsoever. All right, like never watched a match in her life. Just ended up there one day and went, okay, whatever.
Wait. She's never watched wrestling at all, and she got right into it.
She has. Well, she has now. Obviously,
yeah.
She's been
before she didn't do anything.
Previously, we're like, hey, The Rock, and she's like, you mean the guy in Jumanji, right? And we're like, sure.
Okay, this is blowing my mind. This interview. Right? Wow.
And but now, and then she'll do things like she'll dive through the ropes and flip, and I call it Gambia training, right? Because I'm like, how do you move that way? It's incredible. Blake Curtis, whether I love him or hate him or not, that dude moves like you've never seen.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Big dude, but moves. And this is what I love about training. Like, people like with experience, like Valito, for example, right? He's trained. I think my different perspective on training has shown him just some other really cool stuff, and he's been able to unlock that in the power. And now, like, he's doing this such cool shit. He's believing in himself. You know what I mean? Like, something like James Marshall, and like, everyone that I train, right? I don't want people to be like, I'm not calling them out for a reason. But like, be squared as well. You know what I mean? Throwing themselves up in the air. Jay Hunter throwing themselves about. There are people like Nate Nitro that come from a completely different background, and they'll be able to walk into this. You know, it's just so cool. And when people find that potential and they find that switch, it makes me sit there and go, you know what? I'm whole. Like, I've been able to help you find that next level. It is actually, you'll see someone do something at training, but you're like, yeah, yes, let's go. And it's like, man, that is the coolest thing. I feel like I've achieved what I need to achieve. You know what I mean? And it's just so cool. And I told you I would do this, and now I've done this, and now I'm going to do this, and now we're going to get back to the match of Ritchie Taylor. You ask any of my trainees, they'll be like, yeah, that's Krash for you, man. That's Krash. So Ritchie Taylor. Ritchie's one of my best mates inside of wrestling, and I'll always check in on him, and he'll always check in on me. And obviously, he retired at one stage. And I did one of those Instagram things. I'm like, you know, who do you want to see Jayson Krash wrestle this year? Like, are there any dream matches kind of thing?
Yeah.
And then Ritchie the cheeky replied and said Richie Taylor. No word of a lie. I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, you blue ball me again. I swear to God, I'm going to come down there, grab your balls, stick them in your mouth, and then throw you in the ring. Like, don't blue ball me like that, right? With all due love and respect, because I love the dude like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he hit me up and he sent me, I'm going to say he sent me like a winky face, like just the emoji of just the, you never know, bro. And I'm like, don't do that, right? So never in your wildest dreams is Adrenaline's like dream match things.
Yes.
Right? And so I hit him up and I'm like, dude, if I pitch this, would you do it? Like, come on, man. Would you do it? Like, really think about it. And he goes, against you? And I said, yeah. And he goes, dude, I've seen the way you're moving these days. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, would you do it? And he's like, oh no. And I went, what? And I was like, bro, like, you can't do that to me. And I think another month went by, and then I hit him up again. He's like, no, and I miss it. Like, I really miss it. And I remember standing in that ring opposite him. The bell had gone, and the crowd was going, Ritchie, Taylor. And then half the other crowd was going, Krash, Jayson Krash. And I walked over to him. I said, you listen to that, man.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be here. This is home. Like, this is why we do what we do. Like, we ain't getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, when we're not, right? We are doing this for the love of it, and to be able to take fans on a journey, on a ride, and like have people invest in what we do and be able to forget about life for that 10, 15 minutes we're in that ring. That is our job. And I walked over to him and I said, dude, listen, they have paid their money. They have forgotten about any worries they've got outside of these four walls because you're back in this ring, man. Like, let's go. Yeah. And I feel like me and him, we put on an absolute incredible match. And it got match of the year for Adrenaline, which was humbling as hell because there have been some incredible matches. And I tell you what, he was off for like, 7, 9 months, somewhere around there. And my God, he hit me as if he hadn't left the ring, man. Like, there was one part, you'll find it, we're doing a back and forth spot, and he just round up and dove straight through the side of my face, and I dropped like a sack of shit. I remember lying there going, why am I doing this? And I looked up at him, I was like, dude, you, man. And he leveled me again. You know, and it was incredible. Like, I was feeling that for a few days afterwards. He still chops as if he hasn't left the ring. There were welt marks on my chest. I could have like unlocked his phone with a fingerprint scanner off my chest. Like, he nailed me. Like, it was good. You know, but it was humbling as hell. And you know, and now to see that he's coming back and he's picking up bookings here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, call it ego, but like, there was that small part of me that walked back into, like, coming into that match. I was like, I need to make sure we smash this out of the park, because this match will either get Ritchie back in the ring or make him go, I can't do this anymore. And to be a part of that match, that I'm thankful, I'm proud to say, that made him click and realize, man, people still want him in that ring. He's still good enough to be in that ring, and to be a part of that was truly one of the most humbling experiences ever. I got backstage and I looked at him and I said, dude, I love you to bits, but you hit me like that again, I swear to God.
Well, we're nearly out of time, and I'm heartbroken because this was meant to be like a, you know, more about you, but now we're going into your training days.
Just keep going. Just keep going, man. We'll do it part 1, part 2. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
We'll definitely do that in the future. But because this sounds so fun and you clearly enjoy what you do, as a trainer for Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, if we have any aspiring or people who want to be wrestlers in the future, where can they go to contact you, or to even get some training?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously Adrenaline is quite easily accessible on Facebook or Instagram. So you can hit up that page and they'll obviously send you the information, the people that run it. Myself, I'm on Instagram. It's Krash with a K and Jayson with a Y. I don't know. I thought it was cool, but it's Jayson. And then Krash with it. It's Jayson_Krash. So if people hit me up, I'll be like, yeah, cool, let's go. And then I think there's the APW_Academy page on Instagram as well, which obviously will get answered for sure. But I feel like I'm quite active on Instagram and all that stuff. So if people want to hit me up just for a chat or whatever, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's how we got to know each other. Was just going
That's
DM
it,
each
man.
other. Yeah,
That's it, man.
yeah. Just finally, we know that you have a match at Pandemonium 2.0. We had Adam, my great grandfather, cut a promo about Sammy Guevara. Do you want to give your 2 cents for Sammy?
Look, Sammy Guevara, at the end of the day, man, he has 100%. He's taken that belt. He's pissed off overseas with it. He's held that title hostage. But at the end of the day, Sammy Guevara can do whatever the hell he wants, right? Like, who cares?
You don't want to get revenge on for your brother?
No, man, I want to kick that kid's head in. I love him to bits, but there's some things I need to have a conversation. Zane, if you're watching, man, we need to have a talk. It's gonna happen this year, whether you want to or not, man. Gladiator title or not. Look, at the end of the day, Sammy, that's not my match. I think it got announced that I got Kid Valiant, and I think something that I was keen, and I still am. Don't get me wrong. He turned around and I think he replied to the Instagram story and tagged me in it. And he said something along the lines of Krash needs to be humbled. And I went,
ooh,
all right, bro. All right. And you know what? I feel like at my heaviest, I was 138 kilos. I'm 95, man. And I feel like I'm moving the best I ever have. And like, yeah, I feel like this kid's got a bit of a rude awakening. Like, if he thinks he's going to dance around me, then like it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'll go out there and do what I do. Like I do every single day, whether I'm in the ring or not, man. And I just make sure I leave it all out there. Everyone's got 24 hours in the day, man. I don't care if you're Bill Gates, Michael Jordan, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Daniel, Jason. Like, we all have 24 hours in a day. You know what I mean? Like, made the most of it. And Kid Valiant, I'm going to give him one hell of a ride, whether it be 10, 15, 20 minutes, man. As long as he steps up, then it'll be fun.
Give the kid hell, man. You definitely give him hell. Well, Jayson Krash, it's been great having this interview with you. I can't wait to see you on the 25th. And we'll see you later in the future this year. We'll definitely have a part 2 of this one because I want to get to know you even more and have some more war stories, because this has been really fun.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm keen to do it again.
All right. Thanks, brother.
And that's the end of that episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel where you'll find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course, the vlogcast. And don't forget to follow What If It's Cool on all socials. The show can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.